Maybrook, Pennsylvania. That Wednesday was no different from any other. The new elementary school teacher, Justine Gandy, walked into her classroom as usual, only to find a surprise waiting for her. All the children were absent except for a boy named Alex Lilly, even though students in the other classes were present. That night, at 2:17 a.m., the third graders woke up simultaneously, got out of bed, went down the stairs, opened the front door, crossed the yard and disappeared into the darkness. Not one of them returned. Only Alex Lilly did not vanish. The entire town was shocked, unable to understand how such a thing could happen. The police determined that the children had left at 2:17 a.m. because alarms went off in half the houses. Some of those homes had security cameras installed, but the footage showed only the children walking into the darkness. Where exactly they went, no one knew. The police spoke to Alex at length. Perhaps the children had simply made a pact and decided to play a prank, but the boy knew nothing of the sort. The officers also questioned Miss Gandy, the homeroom teacher, yet she said nothing that could help. For nearly a month, the school remained closed due to the investigation. Eventually, however, it reopened so that the children who had not disappeared could continue their studies. The day before, a large parents' meeting was held, with psychologists present. Some parents blamed Justine Gandy, finding it suspicious that only students from her class vanished. Any arguments she makes, that she suffered no less than the others, go unheard. What is more, the grieving parents are ready to take justice into their own hands, especially Archer Graff, the father of a missing boy named Matthew. The woman can barely appear outside without fear. The stress drives her to go to a store and buy alcohol. She sees no other way to cope. Suddenly Justine receives a call from an unknown number, and a woman's voice on the line threatens her. Justine rushes home, making sure no one is following her. That same evening the doorbell rings. The woman hesitates, thinking it might be one of those who wish her harm. She looks through the peephole, then out the window, but there is no one there. The moment she steps away from the door, the knocking becomes more insistent. Grabbing her pepper spray, she goes outside to check and sees that someone has painted the word "witch" on her car. In the morning Justine tries to scrub the graffiti off, but the paint will not come off. Since most parents are hostile, the school administration decides to suspend Justine from teaching, at least temporarily, until people calm down. The woman would like to speak with Alex personally, but the principal, Marcus Miller, considers it a bad idea. Justine had often crossed professional boundaries, allowing herself to hug students or give them rides, which some might find unacceptable. After all, she is not their mother. Justine is broken, feeling that she must find answers. She goes to the police about the vandalized car and the anonymous phone threats. The officer on duty does not take it seriously, saying it was probably just kids fooling around. That same evening Justine meets her ex-boyfriend, Paul Morgan, a police officer at a bar. Although he is already married, he still thinks about Justine a great deal. Paul did not call her after the incident with the missing students only because he was afraid she might take it the wrong way. The man refuses alcohol and orders a cola. He does not like that Justine has been drinking heavily lately and then getting behind the wheel. But she cannot imagine how else to deal with everything that has piled up on her recently. Justine asks whether Donna knows he is here. Paul admits that they are not together at the moment, but that it means nothing. Justine's mood lifts instantly, and she starts persuading Paul to have at least one drink with her. In the morning he wakes up at her place. Justine gives him a ride. She is troubled by the fact that 17 students have disappeared, and the police still have no leads. Paul assures her that they are doing everything they can. He is not a detective, so he is not directly involved in the investigation. But the police are doing all they can. Justine wants to believe this, but she understands that she must take matters into her own hands. The woman follows a school bus to find out where Alex Lilly is living. She knocks but no one answers. She can see that all the windows are covered with newspapers. Peering through a narrow gap, Justine notices two silhouettes and recoils in fright, making a noise. Why are Alex's parents covering the windows and sitting motionless? At a supermarket, Donna, furious after learning where Paul spent the previous night, lunges at Justine. Donna screams that everything is Justine's fault, because Paul was drunk. The woman is once again left alone with her problems. She is haunted by nightmares in which she walks into her classroom and sees all the missing students, zombie-like, sitting perfectly still. Justine feels that she is already on the edge. The next day, despite everything, she decides to talk to Alex. But the boy is clearly unwilling to speak with her and runs away. Justine returns to the Lilly house and pounds insistently on the door, yet no one answers again. The woman gets drunk and falls asleep right in her car. In the middle of the night, the front door of the house opens by itself. Mrs. Lilly, as if possessed by something unknown, steps outside, gets into Justine's car and cuts off a lock of her hair while she sleeps. Archer Graff is desperate. He has lost sleep, unable to understand why the police still have no answers. Where did 17 children disappear to at the same time? And most importantly, who is behind it? The man is a construction contractor, but he cannot concentrate on anything. Archer comes to the police station again, hoping that something, anything, has been discovered. There are still no leads. Archer is convinced that Justine knows more than she is saying. The woman has been caught driving under the influence more than once. She was fired from her previous school for inappropriate behavior, because of an affair with a fellow teacher. Captain Ed Locke emphasizes that the children left their homes voluntarily, so nothing points to this woman. However, Archer does not believe that Justine is uninvolved, otherwise why did only the students from her class disappear? Some time ago, the man began spying on the teacher. Was it he who vandalized her car with paint? Archer is tormented by nightmares involving his son Matthew. Each time, the boy runs away from his father, leading him to the same place, the Lily house, although Archer does not know for certain whose house it is. He always begs his son to tell him where he is, but Matthew seems to be in a trance. The man feels a deep sense of guilt every moment for failing to protect his child. In the next instant, he sees a terrifying elderly woman in the boy's place. Determined, Archer studies the routes all the children took that night and comes to Erica, the mother of a missing girl named Bailey, asking whether he might look at footage from her smart doorbell. The woman dislikes the idea, which forces Archer to act through her husband, Gary. They discover that Matthew's and Bailey's routes intersected. But what does that mean? At a gas station, Archer approaches Justine and asks her to talk. Naturally, the woman does not want to speak with a man who had threatened her not long ago. Suddenly Marcus lunges at her, clearly out of control. Archer tries to pull the enraged man away, but it is as if something has possessed him. It turns out that earlier Paul lied to Justine when he claimed that he had broken up with Donna. In reality, the woman had merely gone away on a work trip. Moreover, the couple had been planning a child. Donna was worried that Paul had stopped attending Alcoholics Anonymous group therapy. But he insisted that he had overcome the urge. His father-in-law, Ed Locke, the police captain, is also his superior. The couple had been invited to the wedding anniversary of Ed and his wife. Dinner was to take place as soon as Donna returned. While patrolling the streets, Paul notices a homeless man trying to break into a building. Paul apprehends the guy and puts him in handcuffs. The homeless man, named James, tries to justify himself, saying that he works in that building, but Paul knows this is a lie. Searching James's pockets, Paul pricks his finger on a syringe and strikes the detainee. The officer then hastily treats the wound, hoping only that the syringe was not contaminated. Realizing that everything was recorded by the police car's dashcam, Paul makes a deal with the guy. The officer will let James go on the condition that he never again comes to the attention of the police. Paul reports the incident to Captain Ed Locke, who says outright that if James files a complaint, proceedings will inevitably follow. Worst of all, Paul injured his finger on the syringe. So when Justine Gandy messages him later that day, he decides to say to hell with everything and meet her. In the morning, Justine gives him a ride. It comes as an unpleasant surprise to Paul that Donna has returned earlier than expected. She immediately realizes he is hungover and demands that her husband explain where he spent the night. Donna tells her father, Ed, everything. Spotting James near the police station, Paul, furious, chases after him. James is homeless and usually sleeps in a tent. Because of substance abuse, his entire life has narrowed to getting hold of some money, otherwise his physical condition begins to deteriorate rapidly. The guy is ready to steal and lie to relatives who have turned their backs on him, just to hold out a little longer. Despite Paul's warning, James breaks into the Lily house one day and rummages through the rooms, when he suddenly notices Alex's parents. They do not react to anything at all. The strangeness of the situation does not stop James, and he steals everything he can. Strange noises come from the basement. James decides to go down and discovers all 17 missing students. They stand there like statues. The guy runs out of the basement in horror. Alex's parents advance on him. James bolts from the house at full speed. First things first, he pawns the stolen items at a thrift shop. There, he sees a notice offering a reward for any information about the missing students. Without hesitation, James calls the police and reports that all the students are in the basement of a house. Since the guy avoids police stations, he asks the operator to have someone bring the cash directly to him. Of course, James is taken for a lunatic, and he has no choice but to go himself. But Paul spots him and gives chase. James runs into the woods, where he sees in the distance a terrifying elderly woman. He hides in his tent, trying to convince himself that it is just a hallucination. But the fear is real. Someone cuts open the tent. James prepares to defend himself, but it turns out to be just Paul. The guy begs the officer not to arrest him, promising in return to show where the missing students are. They head to the Lily house. James is concerned only that he will not be paid the reward. Paul goes into the house alone, leaving the guy locked in the police car. Many hours pass, night falls. Paul comes back out, already like a zombie, and attacks James. Earlier, Justine had repeatedly called Marcus Miller and insistently asked him, as the principal, to check on Alex's family. Eventually he gave in, and scheduled a meeting with the boy's parents. But instead of Mrs. Lilly, an elderly woman enters the principal's office, introducing herself as Gladys, Alex's aunt. According to her, she lives with them to take care of Alex because they are not allowed to leave the house. Marcus politely insists that he must speak with the boy's legal guardians, otherwise he will be forced to involve Child Protective Services. That same day Gladys shows up at Marcus's home and starts rambling, asking for a glass of water. Marcus tries to usher the woman out, while his partner, Terry, out of politeness invites her inside. Gladys asks for a bowl instead of a glass of water, explaining that it is her personal quirk. In reality this is only a pretext, the woman is there solely to make sure that Marcus has not contacted Child Protective Services. Gladys performs a kind of ritual, and before Marcus can call the police, subjugates him to her will. First acting on her instructions, Marcus takes Terry's life, then, when Gladys produces a lock of Justine's hair, he begins to hunt her. The man attacks the woman at the gas station. Archer Graff steps in to defend her. She hides in the store. Shaking off Archer, Marcus runs inside and pursues her. Having recovered, Archer knocks him to the ground, but this does not stop Marcus for long. Justine drives off in her car. Archer jumps into his own car and follows, when suddenly Marcus is struck by another vehicle. Justine and Archer manage to get away with only minor injuries and a fright. The woman sincerely thanks him. Neither of them understands what came over Marcus, only recently he had been completely sane. Archer and Justine reconcile and decide to act together. The man shows her his findings regarding the disappearance of the 17 students. When Marcus ran after Justine, he was like a weapon, like a self-guided missile, something that cannot be explained by psychosis. When Archer talks about his recurring nightmares, Justine notes that they involve the Lilly house. Some time before that, Alex's father had taken him out of school and mentioned that Aunt Gladys would soon be living with them. The family had not seen her for 15 years, but the elderly woman is ill and needs care. She has no one else. The boy is not happy about the situation. Gladys arrives in the middle of the night. The atmosphere in the house quickly turns tense. Mr. Lilly is clearly unprepared for this and would rather place the woman in a hospice. But his wife is against it, because Gladys is her older sister. The boy is frightened by Gladys. His father promises him that it will last a month, no more. But one day Alex's parents do not pick him up from school. The boy walks home. There, he discovers that his parents are behaving like zombies, as if acting under someone else's will. Gladys makes it clear that Alex must now obey her. The next morning before the boy leaves for school, the woman threatens him. If he tells anyone about what is happening, she will make his parents harm themselves. Gladys controls them like voodoo dolls. Because of this, Alex is forced to keep silent and submit completely to Gladys, doing everything she tells him. However, the woman's physical condition deteriorates rapidly with each passing day, which drives her to seek new victims. She asks Alex to bring her one item from each of his classmates, promising that if she recovers, she will release his parents and leave forever. Alex does it. Justine Gandy notices that the boy has become very withdrawn lately and tries to have an honest conversation with him. But he is terrified and says nothing. At home, Alex hands Gladys the belongings of his classmates. That same night, she performs a ritual, and at her call all 17 third-grade students come there simultaneously. Alex continues to keep silent while Gladys controls his parents and classmates like marionettes. The police suspect nothing. Gladys convincingly lies to everyone, claiming that the boy's parents are ill, and that she is temporarily taking care of the family. Soon Paul Morgan also becomes her victim. Realizing that the police will soon begin to suspect something, Gladys demands that Alex pack his things. They are leaving tomorrow. Seeing a police car outside the Lilly house, Archer Graff and Justine sense that something is wrong. Then they notice Paul standing in the doorway, but he is clearly not himself. Archer and Justine go inside. The woman calls Paul by name, but he does not react at all. The moment Justine steps past the line of salt, Gladys's zombies attack. A chase breaks out throughout the house. Archer fights with all his strength, but the zombies feel neither fatigue nor pain. Justine begs Paul to let her go, but to no avail. In the end she is forced to take his life. After that, the woman saves Archer from James. While Alex locks himself in his room, Archer goes down to the basement and desperately searches for his son among the other children, but Gladys is already waiting for him there and subjugates him to her will. He grabs Justine. Understanding how the ritual works, Alex takes control of his classmates and orders them to neutralize Gladys. The woman flees, pursued by the third-grade students. But Gladys never stood a chance. The moment she dies, all of her victims are freed. In the final scene, We see Archer finding his son Matthew and carrying him away in his arms. All the children return to their parents. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss more exciting new products. Also, the authors will be pleased if you leave your opinion in the comments.